Okay, this is the second method for the same question, right? So this is my second method, and it basically we have to draw the diagram again. So this is my diagram, right? This is my R, which is normal contact force, and this is my W, right? And now let's draw the components. I'm gonna take my x-axis and y-axis like this, right? It's basically much easier to do it this way. And now I'm gonna follow the head to tail rule and also complete this components, right? The cos theta and the sin theta, right? So this is basically it's going up and it's going this way. So you know that head to tail rule is basically say this is my first line, right? So my second line should be from the head of the first line, and my resultant, which is this line, right? This line right here, it should be from the tail of the first line to the head of the second line, right? So it's following that. So now this is theta, this is right angle triangle, and then we have this as sine theta, and then we have this as cos theta. You can write it as r sine theta. I'm just making it a little bit, clear, not messy, messy calculation and stuff like that. You can write it as r sine theta and r cos theta. It's up to you, right? I just wrote it like this for my for the explanation purposes only. Okay, so now r sine theta, as we know, is basically pointing towards the center of the circle. So we can say that r sine theta basically equals to fc, which is basically equals to mv square. Fc means centripetal force, so mv square by r, right? So now we know that r cos theta is basically equal to weight. It should be equal to weight. If they are not equal to weight, this r cos theta and this weight, if they're not equal, then the car will start flying, right? So we don't want that, right? So they're both will be equal, and then we know that weight is equals to mg, right? And we can write weight as force as well, right? So now we are gonna use the Pythagorean theorem, right? The Pythagorean theorem is basically this triangle we have wrote. I made this triangle right here, right? So this is our theta, this is our right angle triangle. Over here it is our hypotenuse, over here it is our opposite, and over here it is our adjacent, right? So let me draw this thing right here, right? And we use let me write the SOHCAHTOA as well. SOHCAHTOA, right? Basically TOA. So basically this one is basically sine theta is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, and this one is basically cos theta is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse, and then basically this one is basically equals to tan theta is equals to opposite over adjacent, right? So we're gonna use this one, right? This formula right over here. So let me draw this thing like this, right? In the triangle. So this is our 90, this is our theta, opposite is our sine theta, which is r sine theta. This is our resultant, and this is our r cos theta, right? So let me also draw the arrows as well for just safety, right, purposes. It is for any educational purposes, right? Just to teach you. So now we're gonna use the tan theta. Tan theta is basically equals to opposite over adjacent, as we have stated before, right? This thing. So opposite is basically this thing. This is our opposite, right? So r sine theta, right? And this is our adjacent right here. So r cos theta, right? Now we stated that r sine theta is basically centripetal force, which is basically mv square by r, right? So let me write this as well right here. Tan theta is basically equal to mv square by r, and then we have this thing, right? And then we're basically divided by our denominator is basically mg, right? Mg. So now as we know the reciprocal rule, this thing is basically gonna come from to the nominator's fraction, right? Nominator's fractions denominator. Okay, so as we know the reciprocal rule, this mg will go to the nominator's fraction denominator. Right here is gonna be mgr, right? So let me write it out. This is gonna be mv square by mgr. Now we can cancel these two out, right? Let me write this as well. So we are gonna be left with v square by gr, and we can see from the like the show, because it asked her to show that tan theta is equals to 2v square by gd, right? So we know that r is basically equals to d by 2, right? So we're gonna shift it right here. So v square by g, and then we know d by 2. Now we know that denominator's fraction, basically denominator's fraction denominator, just this thing goes up here, right? So basically it's gonna be 2v square by gd. So let me write this as well, right? So this is gonna be our final answer for the second method, right?